Yeah, Zombie to Dausa Casino and a man goes on. I see her. I can see her.
Kiambo, Natatanzambi, Yamazu, Yenge, Yenge Kieno, Kiambo Te Kieno, Mfumo Kyakuisa, Tatanzambi Mpungu, Hallelujah, Slamandla. Learning that word still. Hallelujah. Zambia and Weja, Zambia Kubenesha. We've come a long way in this awakening, Tatanzambi and Pungu. I think it's been a little over 2 years where we heard Brother Yanate say, Kimbo, Kimbo, Natatanzambi Yamazu. Hallelujah. So many things have happened in this life of mine. So many things as revelations. I want to say Betwabu, Sabona, Lovuvamu, Yala, as they like to say, hallelujah. And yeah, I honor and give thanks and glory and praise to Tatanzambi and Pungu Tulendo Akongo. I honor Kuswa Kongo, the Mandan Semi, all the Maleki Kongo, all of the 24 elders, all the elders of the Isolele, all the ancestors that brought us to where we are. Give honor and praise to the Most High for this, what He is doing in these days. And, you know, when I saw what was going on in New York, and then I saw the church ceremony, the teaching, and everybody was applauding. I said, wow. Hallelujah. I said, man, people, wow. Bana Betu, we have to wake up. We have to wake up. Because the system has lied about these times and seasons, because people have been meant to believe, especially those in religious backgrounds, specifically those in Christianity, they were just up and going to say, oh yeah, the false Messiah is just going to show himself. And we would know how not to fall into his traps. When in reality, you had already fallen into his traps even before this nation got started. Kim and Bana Betu from the Kingdom of Congo definitely fell into the trap. I'm coming here because this message is especially for now, especially for what is happening, especially for what the enemy is doing. That's why I'm titling this, The Enemy Has Always Been Against Kintuadi. Kintuadi. Kintuadi is a word that has many denominations of itself. Kinfolk, next of kin, because Kintuadi is where you really get the word family from. Now, of course, the Mundeli, Kali, and Pemba, or whatever you want to call them, the Ngoy and Goy, or the Gentiles or whatever, are not affiliated with this, because if you don't study languages or you don't understand that there's an original language, that they always want to hide the name, even though it's spoken in the world today, it kind of changes the way people see. When you give languages titles, or you give them connections to groups of people, it makes it easier for those who seek to deceive to hide behind closed doors. And that's why, history in itself is a deceiver. That's why what you learn, what you think the knowledge you have itself is a deceiver, because we always say you keep your guard up for those who look to deceive you, but you don't ever stop to think that the deceivers have always been the people on top. That's even in the case of Ubuntu, Bantu Bandrela, because our ancestors did many things to deceive us. Because the concept of Kintuadi, as Kuswa Kongo tried to help bring about, which was something I'm going to share with you that many people in the system, I'm going to show you why the book of Joshua is such a problem. Because you ask yourself, well then, man, who was this guy? How did he bring Kintuadi to the whole earth? Because in reality, the Most High is going to show you that it is possible to return the earth to full Kintuadi. Now, in this particular situation, because Kuswa Kongo said that they're not come to bring peace but a sword, he basically was eliminating those who were not worthy of the Most High's glory. Even though salvation is indeed of the Yaoundé, salvation is indeed of the Ubuntu, we know, there's one thing I heard in the message between Pastor Miller and Brother Kubi. The Most High, when we look at mercy, we know there are those who say that we know the scripture says, the rain and the sun shine on the righteous and the wicked alike. But we forget, okay, if we're going to say the Most High doesn't change, if we're going to say the Most High is the same yesterday, today, and forever, you have to go back to before the days of Noah. You have to go back to the beginning when Tatanzambi was teaching Adama and Awa, what she called Eve, Awa, Kintuadi, when he was teaching that men must be in Kintuadi. But of course, we know the one who came as the deceiver, he always hates the Kintuadi because his specific rule is that he wants to show that his kingdom is far superior to the Most High, just no matter what it takes. So as we look in these last days, we're going to talk about Kintuadi a lot more, because without it, we forget. Because of the lack of Kintuadi of the Bana Betu of Isolele, this is why the world is the way it is. We were supposed to teach. I know Brother Keflas did a good job of teaching what happened with that, but a lot of the reasons why I also feel that they decided to kill us is because we didn't follow the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. And I'm going to show you why Enoch was such a major player. This is why they hide things about his secrets. This is why he's not commonly known in the scriptures, because what I'm going to read to you today, because most people don't read the book of Joshua, they don't even know what it is. It's going to show you what Kintuadi is supposed to look like. Okay. That's why the Most High said, it's funny how I was reading through it, and there's like the one that said, stop here. And I was like, okay. Because see, as Ubuntu or Bana Betu, yes, we need, the Most High is going to purge the wicked. We know it's written, it's been written. It's even written in the days of Noah about the future, what he would have to do. But once again, just like what he did with Nuku, what you call Noe, he told him to still go and preach to the children of Cain and tell them, your time is up. So as a Ubuntu, as a Ubuntu of Isolele, this is what we're doing. We're saying your time to believe in what you should believe in and what you should not believe is up. We're trying to show you, as the Most High is restoring his chosen people, that we messed up and now he's going to rectify this. Once upon a time, things were, when Isolele was in unity, Kintuadi, we were able to do things that most people could never accomplish. It was the intention of the Maliki Shaitani to make sure that we never stayed that way. And it continues to be that way today. So, for those of us watching, who may be watching but don't understand what in the world I'm talking about, because one of the things you always hear people talk about, oh, we want world peace. We want world peace. We need to achieve world peace. And see that the deception behind that is there's a way to world peace, but they know it's not. You're not going to believe it. Okay. Now this is funny. I found this, and the reason why I pulled it up is because in 2016, my knowledge of the Bantu faith is non-existent. Non-existent. So it goes to show you, but now I knew that there was something about the African connection, because we always heard it as Africa, Africa, Africa. But we never heard it as Bantu. We always wanted to affiliate that all tribes in Africa were the same, or connected the same way, when in reality, this is not true. That's what caused a lot of the deception. Please forgive the noise. So this is a person, his homepage, it was posted on March 20th, 2016, ironically. If you go back, how many years ago was that? 5? Okay, over 5 years ago. Remember the shutdown started 4 years before this, 4 years after this, I should say. And he's going to show you this. This is part of the reason this is why I'm going to show you. When we got shut down, the Most High was teaching the world was trying to teach us about what this is through the Bantu. Now, this person, look who he's talking about here. Mobutu and Kimbangu. Mobutu and Kimbangu. Mobutu is the reason that Kimbangu is separated from the Tokuis. Okay, so we're going to go through this paper a little bit. If I ever get a chance, it's obviously, this is where we say they know a bit about Kimbangu in Germany. It's got affiliation with some Germany in there. So I wonder who this person may have learned something from. Could it be Mikhail Massa? I don't know. Could be. But it's from 2016. What does Kintuadi mean? Kintuadi originates from the Kikongo, the official language of the Bantu Congo people, which means spiritual unity. In 2016, even when I was on my YouTube channel then, nobody was talking about this that I'm aware of. That if there were some people, I didn't come across their channel, I didn't know it. but majority of us didn't know anything about this. The word can be broken down into 2 or 3 pieces. Ki, the act of, Kintuadi, being together. And what was sad was there was a Kosa lady on Bill Cosby when his show was on. I remember talking about this once before when she was talking to Olivia, which we know is what's her name? Church member was related to her, Raven Simone. And it says, they said in the Kosa, which we know are also Bantu people, they said we never had a word for alone because we were always a family or together. And this is kind of a way of putting it in our face. Because even in the Caribbean, you would hear people say, family, I know you from somewhere. Family, how you doing? Hi, family. That's why, I remember growing up, my grandfather used to say, you never pass somebody without greeting them. Okay. And they always used to talk about the other people who wouldn't do it because it wasn't in their culture. They were never Kintuadi. So we were always following what Kuswa Kongo said, that you should always acknowledge your friends or neighbors, family. Okay. So he breaks it down even further. He says, ki, the act of, this is what they talk about, the ki energy. You understand that the kinetic energy that they use in science derives from ki or chi. The ki, they always talk about the kinetic energy is the amount. Let's look at it. Let's see if I can find it. Look at it real quick. 1 second. This thing's messing up. I'll be right back. Okay, hope it stops acting up. It kind of acts up. Okay, if you look at the word of kinetic energy, K-I-N, or ki. This is a secret. This is where they get it from. This is the physics. And of course, it says in physics, the kinetic energy of an object is the energy that it possesses due to its motion. It is defined as the work needed to accelerate a body of a given mass from rest to its stated velocity. Okay, so Ubuntu people, okay, our entire spirituality was based on togetherness. Okay, because the key is the act of, it's the potential energy. And one of the things that we know as we come into this awakening, we used to always say strong, the term stronger together has a reason. Okay, there's strength in numbers, there's all these things they talk about. Okay, so ki, the act of into spiritual leader Adi, the act of his spiritual leader. Who is this representing? They're not going to be full dig down. Now you're going to see where they come by, where they really get Kaba from. Because they actually, like we always say, they take the Kikongo language and they dirty it. They take the Bantu spirituality and they turn it into wickedness. Okay. So many Bantu languages have hidden spiritual messages in which each word okay, listen to this. Man, this is 2016 now. Many Bantu languages have hidden spiritual messages. Does the word esoteric come to mind? You see how hidden can be used for both bad and good. The esoteric can be both bad and good, but because of the way you were taught, you were hammered about, and I even was responsible. I was hammering about the negative aspect, but like the Most High says, we have hidden spiritual messages. This is why they made us stop speaking Kikongo in many places, or try to beat it out of us, because it's a spiritual language. And each word is valuable as the next one. See, each word, that's why we try to say the power of the Most High is in the language. The power of Tatanzambi and Pungu Tulendo is in the language. Okay? Most words can be reversed and still have the same value. So when you speak in Kikongo, it becomes a value. And Kintuadi provides this value. So it says, for example, Kaaba. So when you see the Muslims walking around the Kaaba stone, it's a gift. They think the stone is supposed to be giving them energy. It's supposed to be giving them power. Okay? Which replace, that's what me said, the stone that the builders rejected. Kintuadi, or the Kaaba of Kikongo, the stone that we should be focusing on is the stone that the builders rejected. Kuswa, the Mwandan Semi, the Most High, Tatanzambi and Pungu, okay? Of course, what the world calls him, but again, there's a way to deceive you because the power is in the Most High's language. Baka, to receive. Now, baka in Spanish is cow or meat. So you are receiving meat. This is where you get the energy for eating. You receive, you eat, baka, mouth, boca. Baka goes in your boca in the Spanish. Okay? So this is how you receive your food. The Kintuadi allows you to receive your spiritual food. The Kaaba, which has really been tainted, which is Kuswa Kongo, who gave us the word of Tatanzambi in its proper form. Also, and all the other elders and all the other people, okay, they receive your food. Okay? The word Untu defines life as a whole and everything from a spiritual perspective. There is a saying that in Kikongo that goes, Nzambi Untu, Untundu, Untu ata Unkanu, Nzambi Ozenga o Unkanu. Listen to translation. This is how you can tell we are the chosen people. Right here. This is the translation. God is the head. The head is the judge, and God is the decision maker. We come from Umtumpu, spiritual world, born on to Umpantu, the physical world, until we die and return to Umtumpa. Okay? Or the Pabakalumba, Pabakalumba, as Masa called it. Pabakalumba, I can never get that word right. Okay. Bantu is a group of people, therefore, and an individual is called a Muntu. Now, he's going to break it down. Mu, the creation, Muntu, the spiritual leader. So, Muntu, this is why we say you're a man. Adama was Muntu. He was the creation of the spiritual leader, which is Tatanzambi, Akongo. Muntu means the creation of the spiritual leader, We are the makings of God. So this is the first Muntu was Adama, who lived in the garden of Adam and Eve. So Tatanzam, God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. So they're showing you the connection of Kintuadi, okay, from the Kikongo. Now, let's go to it. This is the Kikongo Bible, but I'm going to first read it to you in English. Philippians. All right. If there be therefore any consolation in Christo, or Kuswa, if any comfort of love, so we won't say why I'm saying Kuswa, not Christ, is because Kuswa means anointed in Kikongo. If any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any bowels and mercies, fulfill ye my joy, that ye may be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord. And I'm going to teach you this word one accord from the English version of one mind is what Kintuadi means. Okay? So if you are of one mind, one accord, one spirit, you are in Kintuadi with the Most High. Then he goes to the next. This is Philippians. Let nothing be done through strife or vain glory. Okay, now I know the scriptures, we talk about it all the time, tainted, yeah, okay. But the message is for the Bana Betu. He is letting us know we're not supposed to be doing stuff to each other in strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind. Let each esteem other better than themselves. Remember, you're not to say, I honor others. This is where we come from. The esteem is honor. Bana Betu, we honor others, we honor, okay? We use that mindset. Do you ever see this happening with the Mundele, Kadian Pemba, or the going, the Gentiles? No. They are always fighting to be better than the other. They even teach it in the school, which is competition. You need to be the best. You want to be on top. Do you know where that actually comes from? Do you know what King of the Hill really means? That is a Babylonian concept. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this be in you. Now, this is where many Christians don't even understand this concept, because if they were doing it, they'd have the power like they think they have. It said, let us be in you. Let this mind be in you, which is also in Kuswakongo, Yusu Kristu. Okay? So, what he is saying, we must have the mind of the Benanzambi to be like the Father. Because the Benanzambi is the one mind with the Father. They do not deviate. The Mwandan Semi is on the same mind, the Maleki Congo, all the angels, the Maleki, even though they may have differences about how they view things, they still must remain in one mind with the Father. Who being in the form, now we just went over this with the Kintuadi. What did he say? Muntu, in the form of Tatanzambi through Akongo. Though not to be robbery, to be, now it says thought it not robbery to be equal with Tatanzambi. Now look at what Kuswa did. This is why I don't seek glory. I don't want, my channel is not for me to be glorified or raised up or nothing like that. I let the Most High do the raising, not me. It's not about me, it's about him. It's what he says right here. But made himself of no reputation. No reputation. Meaning not, there's people who watch my channel, there's people who know me, but when I go onto an airplane or I go outside in the street or I go on anywhere, nobody knows who I am, except maybe people who grew up with me or people that knew me in school. See, and what was so funny was, it was the strangest thing in high school, and people could tell you this, and even in college, I was shocked. I'm like, people would know who I am, but I wouldn't know who they are. So it made me wonder, what kind of a reputation was I forging at that time? Why did people know me? Okay. And so now it's like the Most High saying, to be a humble servant means you are like a nobody. You just do the work. Okay. That's why even with the elders, they had to ask us with Congo, who are you? Okay. And being found in a fashion as a muntu, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, which he really didn't die, he just transformed, even the death of the stake. Okay. All right. So now, let's look at it from the Kikongo. This is Philippi. This is Nkanda. Remember, Pastor Miller broke down Nkanda, which is the scriptures of Paulu. He broke down on the channel what Paulu actually was about. The name Kwabisi Philippi. So wait a minute. Paulu Kwabisi Philippi. So Philippi and Paulu must have been connected. It says, I'm going to read the same verses in Kikongo. How far did I go? I went through, let me make sure, verse 8. Okay. Undundu budulu, mukala yenge, there go yenge, ifanana ye Kristu. You see, we didn't call him Christos. We called him Kristu. Mutomba umpulusu ye diata bulungidi. Paulu, wabasila mu fidisa Timoteo. Wait a minute, this is the wrong, sorry, this is the wrong one. Reading the wrong verse, sorry. Back to this one. That's chapter 3, my bad. Bika lemvo wakala yeno ye yenge kitukiri kwa nzambe. Wait a minute, it's supposed to be chapter 2. My apologies. What did I say? Am I in chapter 2 here? Yeah, it's chapter 2. Sorry. Okay, so I was right. So let's go to chapter 2, verse 1. Ndun budulu mukala yenge ye fanana ye Kristu. Mutomba umpulusu ya ye diata bulungidi. Paulo wabasila mu fidisa Timoteo. It's funny how it's different than what you read, what I just read. Their names are in this. Epa folodito wafiduswa kwayao. This is verse 2. Unkiangunu vo buena umbondobolo, excuse me, umbondobolo, muklistu, vo umbombolo, azola means love, vo kintuadi, kiampeve, vo intima, no, enkenda. Buna, actually, this is the whole, it put this together because now we're on chapter verse 2. Buna lulungisa kisi, kiami, kisi is power, kiami umpasi luakala diela dimosi, buluena zola kumosi, buluena mambunda ye diela dimosi. Ka luvangani diambumu luvanguku vomu enkembolo, that's glory, wankatuko kanzi mu luyinunu lubanzansana vo muntu ululutiri. Muntu ululutiri. I hope I'm saying that right. Muntu kanani tadidila biandi kibeno ko kanzi muntu biangana mpe. Lukala diela di musu moyeno diakala muklistu Yesu. Yandi, I know means time. Bu bakala, now remember I told you, oh no, it's kaka, sorry. I thought it was bakala, sorry. Yande bu kakala. Let's see if we can see what kakala means. Now see, mwesi, in this dictionary we got, mwesi kintuadi is associate or someone that you are connected to. See how when they put the mwesi, it's just a friend. You remove the mwesi, it's all together. Now, I was going to read this because this is really strange. Yaya. Yaya is giving reverence to someone who's older than you. But they're going to tell you, this is the strangest thing that I saw. This is coming from the so-called Jehovah people. Muntindo Beto Vandaka Kubakisa Antete, Ohala, Samaria. If they're going to say this is the capital of Israel. It's like, wait a minute. Where did they get this? So this is connecting to something different. Unto umbanza ya Israeli. I get the R because you don't say that. Umbanza Israeli. Yaya que monisa di bundu ya Katolika. This is how we spell Catholic. Katolika. O Holiba, Jerusalemi, Nto Umbanza Yayuda. Hey, that's a Kikongo word. Yuda. Simba wa Yuda. Okay. Leke. Que monisa di bundu ya mission. That's the word that they use. Missione is the word for Protestant. Previous understanding, Ohala, Samaria, capital of Israel. Wait a minute. The older sister pictures Catholicism, Oholiba, Jerusalem, capital of Judah. The younger sister pictures Protestantism. Interesting connection there. So I was looking for the word. Let's see where I was at. Kakala. Let's see. Yandi Bu Kakala. For some reason, that word's sticking out to me. We're going to find out. Now they're calling it mouse. Kakala. Interesting. It must have another meaning, though. These are the swarming creatures of the earth that are unclean to you. The mole rat, the mouse, every kind of lizard. Okay, this is something that we obviously were taught. But when we go, let's see, this was verse 6. Who being in the form of God, so this is supposed to be equivalent, I hope this is right. This doesn't match though. Linutu Lua Nzambe Kabanzila Diobonzo Kintani Mukala Unde Dakani Ye Nzambiko. Okay, so maybe it's just how it's worded because it's a longer sentence. But to get the point across is we know that this person put, when it comes to Kintuadi and the way he broke down the whole thing, back even in March before we started this whole Bantu awakening, this person was already breaking it down and preparing the way. You can tell the Most High was using this person, preparing us for the stuff that we would learn. So this person in 2016 is validating what Yanata and Marcia and Kefas and Mr. Pastamello and Masa, and you know, even when Issachar started and all the other people and all this stuff, when it all started out myself, as I was learning, okay, there was a song I used to always listen to when I started listening to music. Kintuadi was a big thing. Okay. So then let's go to 1 Peter 3 and 8. Kepa. We know this is Kepa. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous. So the translation, of course, with the English is you are to be, you know, in the Kepa saying here, we are to be lowly. When you say somebody's pitiful, you mean it's like, man, you're lowly, you know, it could be used in different ways, and it says be courteous. Now, of course, the English translation was pretty, let's see if we can find it in the Congo Bible. Let's find it right. This is in a different order too. I found out kind of interesting. This is Thessalonians. It's called Thessalonica. Timoteo. Let's see. Tito. There goes Titus. Nkanda kwa baebeleo. And I think that's Philippians. Philemon. And then what comes after? Hold on a second. Let me go to the list. So when you see, yeah, Philemon, Hebrews. So this word, this is the word for baebeleo. It's how they're saying Hebrews. Interesting. Let me look again. I think I saw. Yeah. So yeah, let's go back. Let me just double check it. It goes to it's Philemoni, Tito, Philemoni, and baebeleo. So wait a minute. This is a Kikongo Bible. Why do they call this word Hebrew baebeleo? I keep trying to tell you that word didn't exist. And it says the word, the message, it says it's full Ibli. I think is what that's the reference. Yeah, that's interesting right there. So there was no, in this, they don't call anything Hebrew in this Bible. Let's see. This is Jacobi. That's the book of James. That's what they call James, Jacobi. See? Jacobi is actually the correct pronunciation. Nkanda a Jacobi. Now we know Kepa, but they say Nkanda Wantete Wapetelu is the way they're saying it in this book. So what was I looking at? 1 Peter 3 and 8. Chapter 3. Let's go down. It's up here. Vazimonina Lucala Babonsono Diela Dimosi Fui Sangani Nkende Nzolwa Zimpangi Kiwuntu Luyinunu. Okay. So again, you know, this is what we would be looking at when it comes to being one mind. Is what he's saying in the Kikongo. Learning, again, I'm learning these words. It's not easy. But you see, okay, even if we go back to the English version, he's telling us was be one love and be courteous. Let's see if I can find that word in this translation here. Luyinunu. Wait. Luinunu. So it's second. Let's see. See, that's why sometimes with this thing, see, I spell Luni, Luyinunu. I spelled it right, correct. Wait 1 second. That's right. That's my fault. Spelled it wrong. There's an extra Y in there, N in there. Lu. That's why it's saying, I don't know what that is. Luyinunu. Okay, so this one is not here. Let's check this one. So I won't find it in this one either. So this is obviously a lot older. Okay, so what I'm just saying is the message here is that what kept us showing you was the secret, okay, to Ubuntu and our abilities as a nation. He's saying that as Bantu or Ubuntu Isolele, the secret is to be one mind, one compassion for one another, love as brethren, and to treat one another fairly. Now, what this does, and this is why, when they Mundele and Kadian Pemba, the secret to their conquering of the Ubuntu was division. This is where they come up with the mindset, divide and conquer, okay? If you divide us, you conquer us. If you can't divide us, we're stronger together. So the enemy, when it comes to all the years that he caused us to be deceived, that was why we say jealousy and division is the strongest enemy, the strongest weapon against the Most High's people. Hence the reason why he had to make it law. Where he had to make it something we had to, and see, that's the sad part about it is, we should, okay, and I'll go back to what I'm getting at with Enoch, okay? He's gonna show you that when we become this, the whole world can become peaceful. Because it comes to us, that's why they say that the strife, as we talked about, you don't want that to happen to us. They want that to keep happening. This is why, like I was telling my brother today, the biggest weapon, and that's why he had to write this up. I said, jealousy, envy, and strife is what brings Bantu people down, okay? But yet you see it all the time in the people who are unified in business. They have a lot of envy, strife, and whatnot, but what does that do though? It builds their kingdom, it builds things their way. And what is their world based off of? Oh, I gotta outdo I gotta outdo you, I gotta outdo you, I gotta outdo you. I have to survive up here. I gotta do, it's all about dog eat dog. Okay. So if you're sitting there and the system's made off dog eat dog, then how could you be building the kingdom, the world of the Most High? You're not. Okay. And then you go showing off what you buy, and you go showing off what you get, and you go showing off all these things, and it promotes what? Envy and strife. But this is the enemy's way of intentionally creating division among Bana Betu. Because if you deprive people of the means to attain it, then you'll use enemy, as I say, like unfortunately Malcolm used to say, by any means necessary. Whatever it takes to get rich. There was a movie that was even called Get Rich or Die Trying. Okay. And so the Kintuadi aspect of it is not seeking the love of this world, but the love of the Most High. To be not carnal, but spiritual, which I said, we talked about spiritual leader. Okay. So now let's go to the book of Jasher. And I'm sure people are going to be blown away by certain things that they read here. Remember, let me get, before I do it, let me get back to what I was saying about kinetic energy. When Bantu people are unified, remember I told you when I was in Embo, it felt like I was charging up, and I found out I wasn't the only one. I happened to have a conversation with Manzambi Zola and him, and I learned that they were the same way. And other people that have been there, that's why they miss it now, because it's like, wow, I felt different. Okay. And the word is getting out. Oh yeah, we feel so much better over here. But at the same time, you still have to do what? The Most High's work. The goal of the Bana Betu is Ezekiel 37 with Kintuadi. Okay. So here's what happened with Enoch. Enoch, we know they changed things. So I'm going to start from verse 1. And Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. Now, Methuselah, for all of you that remember, he was the one that was misrepresented in Noah. He didn't save the watchers. He was defending us from the watchers. Reverse. And Enoch walked with Tatanzambi after he begot Methuselah. And he served Tatanzambi and despised the evil ways of the Muntu, of men. And the soul of Enoch was wrapped up in now listen to this, the soul of Enoch was wrapped up in the instruction of Tatanzambi, of the Most High. So everything about Enoch was Kintuadi. This is what Kintuadi is. He was together with the Most High. Then that means he was one mind, one spirit, like all the Malikis. Okay, now listen to this. In knowledge and in understanding, and he wisely retired from the sons of Muntu and secreted himself from them for many days. So what did he do to go to the Most High to learn? He went in secret. I remember one time the Most High said you need to take a whole year off to grow your spirituality and learn and not do videos. And I did that. You'll see I have a 3-year to 1 year. And in that year, I started to learn things. I started to grow. I secreted myself away. And this is where a lot of my spiritual growth began to formulate itself. Okay. And it was at the expiration of many years, while he was serving Tatanzambi and praying before him in his house, that a Maleki of Tatanzambi called to him from heaven and said, "Here," and he said, "Here am I." Actually, Mando Yandi Yai is what I learned is in Kikongo. And he said, "Rise, go forth from thy house and from the place where thou dost hide thyself, and appear to the Benanmuntu, the sons of men, Benanmuntu, in order that thou mayest teach them the way." So again, who does this sound like in the days of Noah? What did Mosi go do? He went to hide himself with Tatanzam. He went to the mountain. He went up to receive the law. Okay? Now, what's the difference between Isolele, like I said, man, Shaitani can cause jealousy. And of course, eventually this probably happened after now once I read after he left, but we'll show you. In order that thou mayest teach them the way in which they should go, and the work that they must accomplish to enter into the ways of Tatanzambi. So there is a way you are supposed to go with the Most High, and you have to accomplish this to be in the way. This is why we would say, "Away." Are you in the way of Yahweh? Yeah, are you in the way? This is why we refer to Kuswa Kongo as Yesway. And Hanak rose up according to the word. Now, who would be the word here? The beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God, Tatanzambi. In the beginning there was the word, and the word was with Tatanzambi, and the word was Tatanzambi, and the word became flesh. Wait a minute. So who's teaching Hanak right here? And Hanak rose up according to the word of Tatanzambi and went forth from his house, from his place, from the chamber in which he was concealed. And he went to the Benamuntu and taught them the ways of the Most High. And at that time assembled the sons of Muntu and acquainted them with the instruction of the Most High. So again, and we know in this awakening, the Kintuadi, to be against the Kintuadi is to be against the instruction of the Most High. Remember, it said the spiritual, let's go back to what he said, what it means. The act of his spiritual leader is what Kintuadi is referring to. So you have to act like the Most High, be like the Most High, to do like the Most High, to be in his way, to have the kingdom inside of you. Okay? This is what we need to understand, to be in unity. And the enemy, he hates this. Okay? And he ordered it to be proclaimed in all the places where the son of Muntu dwelt, which is where? The entire earth, the total, saying. Now remember, the Cain is around here too. So this kind of throws a ringer. Okay, at one point, Cain wasn't messing up. We're going to show you that this is why the Malekis had to get, this is where the Watchers did, this is where they did their thing, man. Where is the Muntu who wishes to know the ways of Tatanzambi and good works? Let him come to Enoch, Hanak. And all the Benan Muntu. Now, we could say that Cain is no longer Benan Muntu because of the separation, and these are the children of Seth. This is the argument that could be made. We don't know because it doesn't really specify. But again, you'll see it must have been because of what's going to happen. All the sons of Muntu, for all who desired this thing, went to Hanok. And Hanok reigned over. So he is now become Kongo. He is now the truth, the way and the truth and the life of this time. So he is a Messiah figure in the days of Noah. He is a savior of these men. Reigned over the Benamuntu according to the word of the Tanzambi. And they came and bowed to him and they heard his word. Now, Masa and I said, this is how you can tell they hid some things because the spirit of the Most High you do bow down to. So they're saying, wait a minute, he's a man. He's bowing down. I just had this discussion with Masa Day, and it shows you right here that he was accurate. This is why they bowed down before Moni Congo. I truly believe the reason why they said not to bow down before men in the modernized version of the Bible, because then you would have to bow down to black people who have the spirit of the Most High, which of course in Africa, they didn't want that. Again, we'll get to that point when we see. Masa says you always bow to things and you don't even realize it, even inadvertently. Many people are bowing down to President Biden. And the spirit of Tatanzambi was upon Hanok, and he taught all his men the wisdom of the Most High in his ways, and the sons of Muntu served Tatanzambi all the days of Hanok, and they came to hear his wisdom. Now listen to this. All the kings in the Benin of Muntu, both first and last, this is why I'm trying to tell people, man, that Noah movie is all jacked up, because there were kings on the earth even then when it said, or the Most High said there can be no king. But he made Hanok a king. They just make a lie. All the kings of the Benin, both first and last together with their princes and judges. Of course, you had princes and judges, just like you got them now, before the days of just like the days of Noah, came to Hanok when they heard of his wisdom, and they bowed down to him, and they also required of Hanok to reign over them, to which he consented. So he is now the king of the earth in righteousness, though. Who was the king of the earth? Now, see what happened, the difference between him and Saula and Davidi and Salama. Okay, it kind of makes you wonder, boy, how come we don't have what was our problem? And I'll get to that. And they assembled in all 130 kings and princes, and they made Hanok king over them, and they were all under his power and command. And look what he taught when he was doing this. And Enoch taught them wisdom, knowledge, and the ways of Tatanzambi. Now tell me this. How many people that you want to call yourself preachers, pastors, prophet, I'm saying in this world today, can tell them that you're teaching Hanok this way? Because I'm going to tell you how you know you're not. Watch. Okay? This is why when Kuswa came, he had to start separating people because they were wicked and teaching the opposite of what Hanok is teaching. That's why he had a problem with the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And he made peace amongst them. So at this point in time, listen to this, and there was peace throughout the whole earth during the life of Hanok. So they were not fighting. There was no wars. There was not even, wait a minute, where's Satani hanging around? What was going on? This is Methuselah's control over the watchers at this time. Wait a minute, wasn't the Nephilim doing stuff? So you can see This is why even in the book of Enoch, the fallen angels came to him to go before the Most High to seek a return. And that's why when they said no, they got mad. And and everything broke loose since then. Okay, and Hanak reigned over the now they're Benon zombies, for 243 years, and did just and righteousness with all his people, and led them in the ways of the Most High. So what the Most High is saying, when you have a group of people, especially the chosen people, the one he chose, that are leading people in the way of the Most High, you will have peace. But this requires what? Kintuadi. So Hanak at this time had Kintuadi with the whole earth. This is why the enemy is the opposite. He is the destroyer. This is why he said he was a liar, he was a thief, he was a murderer from the beginning, because he is anti-Kintuadi. But Hanak was able to subdue when he had favor with the Most High. This is what Kuswa Kongo was trying to teach the Bana Betu of Isolele. Man, if you are in the way of the Most High, the whole earth will obey you. No wars. Nothing. But because people had, I'll get to the next part, they did not want the Kintuadi. This is now why you are in turmoil today. And these are the generations of Hanak, Methuselah, Elisha. Here's another Elisha again. Remember, Elisha was with Leah. And Elimelech, 3 sons, and their sisters Malka, Nama. Take a circle on Nama, because I still don't know how this happened, but this is supposed to be the wife of Noah. Unless it's a different Nama, I don't know. And Methuselah lived 87 years and begot Lamech. And it was in the 56th year of the life, it was in the 56th year of the life of Lamech when Adama died. So, man, do you see how old Adam was? Lamech, okay, was born just before the Most High was getting ready to destroy the earth. So from Lamech, now look what's going to happen. From Lamech on, chaos reigned. 930 years old was he at his death, and his 2 sons with Hanak and Methuselah, his son. So look who buried him, with a group pomp, and as the burial of the kings in the cave which Tatanzambi had told him. And in the place of all the sons of Muntu made a great mourning and weeping on account of Adama. Now this is why you go, you hear the wailing when people go, this was the wailing. It was therefore become a custom among the sons of Muntu to this day. So the Bana Betu, when you bury the kings, the wailing. Okay? And Adama died because he ate the tree of knowledge, and his children after him, as Most High had spoken. Now listen to this. It was in the year of Adama's death, which was the 243rd year of the reign of Hanak. In that time, Hanak resolved to separate himself from the sons of Muntu and to secret himself as the first to order to serve the Most High. Now he's going to do where he's going to do where he won't be found. So they're going to seek the knowledge and wisdom. Okay. Now you got to ask yourself this question. Now, why did the Most High do this? Because they needed to also be like him and continue his ways. That's why Kuswa Kongo said, hey, now that I taught you, you need to go do it yourself. Well, that's when the problem started. Okay. So again, he comes and he goes. He doesn't stay for long. He conceals himself. He leaves. He's okay. So they said, of course, I'm going to jump down to where they said, may the king live, may the king live. So, of course, so it says, and sometime after, when the kings and princes, sons of men were speaking with Enoch, and Enoch was teaching them the ways of Tatanzami, behold, a Maliki Lord came unto all from heaven and said, wish to bring him up to heaven, to make him reign there over the Maleki Congo. Hey, what it is. Okay, so what he had achieved is what Adama was supposed to do. But remember, because he didn't die, as was ordered by the Most High of the children of Adam, this is why now he has to come back and experience the death, but he will have the fire and the abilities of the Mwanda because he was with the Most High until the time he comes to expose the fallen one. So you see, the Most High had prepared someone for the Bana Betu, which he knew, because like I said, the Most High sees the future. He knew what was coming. So he spared this man in the same fashion that he spared Elijah, because he knew he would need them to help us against those who would become wicked in this world. But they must experience the death. But because they were already living with the Most High in eternity, they cannot die. They will make it look like they can. That's why they get up. Okay. But that's why these spirits continue to live over. I mean, see, these are other, now think about it. The people that he taught the ways, their spirits are where? They live on. This is why I try to tell people, there are people who lived in the days of Noah who now live today. Wait, that's not possible. Wait, that can't happen. They have the wonder. And now, therefore, I will teach you wisdom, knowledge, and give you instruction before I leave, and how to act earth whereby you may live, and did so. But obviously that didn't last because of what happened with Jared. So then what causes us to go back into that way of deception, destruction, is the removal of the Kintuadi spirit. Okay? Because after he left, let's go to the next chapter. I'm trying not to go too long. I know, brother, maybe bits and pieces, I'm sorry. But it says, but you got to hear this. Now look what happened. All the days that Enoch lived upon the earth were 365 years. You wonder if that's where maybe they actually get this number from? I don't know. And Enoch had ascended into heaven. All the kings of the earth rose and took Methuselah and his son and anointed him. And they caused him to reign over them in place of his father. And Methuselah acted uprightly in the sight of Tatanzambia as the father Enoch had taught him. And he likewise during the whole of his life taught the sons of men wisdom, knowledge, and the fear of Tatanzambi, and did not turn from the good way either to right or to left. But in the latter days of Methuselah, the sons of Muntu turned from the Most High, and they corrupted the earth. They robbed and plundered each other, and they rebelled against Tatanzambi, and they transgressed and they corrupted their ways and would not hearken to the voice of Methuselah, but rebelled against him. Now, how do you think that happened? Let's see if it talks about it. I know there's a scripture that says that what happened is the seed of Cain got mixed with Yared and started to mess up. All of a sudden, Shaitani stepped in and the fallen angels stepped in and they took away the Kintuadi, the watchers. And the Most High was exceeding wroth against them, and Most High continued to destroy the seed in those days, so that there was neither sowing nor reaping in the earth. So the earth became desolate. Okay? Now, because of the blessing of the Most High on Yakubi, that's why you still have places, okay, that were restored with their abilities after the flood. Because remember, everything was underwater, including the Kingdom of Congo. For when they sowed the ground in order that they might obtain food for the support, behold, thorns and thistles were produced, which they did not sow. And still the sons of men did not turn from their evil ways, and their hands still extended to do evil in the sight of the Most High, and they provoked Tatanzami with their evil ways, and the Most High was very wroth, and he repented that he had made Muntu. Now, of course, people say, well, didn't the Most High sin? Repented has two different meanings. It just means that he's like, why did I make this person? Repentant means return, which he could return the fact that he made us. And he thought to destroy and annihilate them and did so. And he did so. And in those days, when Lamech, the son of Methuselah, was 160 years old, Seth and the son of Adama died. And all the days that Seth lived were 912 years, and he died. And Lamech was 183 years old when he took Asma, the daughter of Elisha, the son of Enoch, his uncle, and she conceived. Wait a minute, that's your uncle's daughter. And at the time of the sons of Muntu sowed the ground, and little food was produced, and so it wasn't very much. Yet the Benan Muntus did not turn from their evil ways, and they trespassed and regaled Tatanzambi. And the wife of Lamech conceived and bare him a son at the time, at the revolution of the year. And Methuselah called his name Nuku, or Noah, saying, the earth in his days of rest, and the earth was in his days at rest and free from corruption. Wait a minute. So he's saying that's because of, I'm assuming that's because the flood would come. And Lamech, his father called his name Manakim, saying, this one shall comfort us in our works and miserable toil on the earth that Tatanzami had cursed. Remember, because we were cursed with to till the earth. And the child grew up and was weaned and went in the ways of his father, perfected and upright with Tatanzambi. And all the Benanzambi departed from their ways of Most High in the days as they multiplied on the face of the earth with the sons and daughters, and they taught one another their evil practices, and they continued sinning against the Most High. So what does that sound like today? Do you not see? Okay. When the kingdom of Congo, yeah, I'm not saying that the world was at peace, but in the kingdom of Congo existed, okay, there were ways people would learn. We were still teaching the right ways, but we still digress. We didn't do right. Okay. And every man made unto himself a god. Sound familiar? We were supposed to worship the gods of wood and stone. Our forefathers never did. Again, their forefathers didn't make these gods. And now who were they worshiping? Obviously, now they're worshiping the Nephilim and the fallen angels. And they robbed and plundered every man his neighbor as well as his relative. And they corrupted the earth. Now, do they not rob him? Is that not what you see now? And the earth was filled with violence. Hello. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of Muntu and took their wives by force from their husbands according to their choice. Really? You think that doesn't happen now? Hello. And the sons of Muntu in those days took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowl, and taught the mixture of animals, one species with another. And here's where you get your so-called evolution that they now teach you. Because animals that resemble the previous animals, now you find their bones and you say, oh, this must have created the cow, and this must have created the horse, and this must have created, Lies. This is what we started to do, and we're doing it even now. You ever heard of a mule? You ever heard of a Ligra? Okay. A horse mixed with a zebra, all these different, it's happening now. And Tatazami saw the whole earth and it was corrupt. This is even when they could do this with reptiles and mammals. That's why you think, oh, the dinosaurs warm-blooded. No. They made big creatures too, tall, huge animals when they did this. And the Most High said, I will blot out man that I created from the earth, yea, from men to birds in the air, and the beasts are in the field, and I repent that I made them. And all the moon too who walked the ways of, and I said, but now there were men who were walking. They'll say, all the men who walked in the ways of the Most High, they died in those days. So wait a minute. They would have had the Mon and Semi. They would have been, this is why Kuswa Kongo in the book of Bartholomew said, I have to go back and get all the people who live righteous. Do you forget that he had to fight with Satani for Mosi and the others? Because he had the keys. Because see, look what happened. Enoch had the keys, Methuselah had the keys, and look what happened. They got taken away. Who did they give them to? And all the men who walked in the ways of Tatanzami and died brought evil before the Most High brought evil upon the moon too, that he had declared for those. So you're going to see a repeat. People who have the Most High considers to be walking in his ways will likely go bye-bye. And then he going do it again, like in the days of Noah. Noah found grace in the sight of the Most High, and the Most High chose him and his children to raise up seed from upon the face of the earth. Okay, now I'm almost done. Now you can tell, you're going to get confused because there were two Enochs. It was before that. But it says it was in the 84th year of the life of Nuku that Enoch, the son of Seth, died. He was 955 years old at his death. Now, wait a minute. He said, wait, didn't he go up? So who was he talking about? And in the 179th year of the life of Nuku, Canaan, the son of Enoch, died. And all the days of Canaan was 910 years, and he died. So if you go back in the book of Jasher, there's two Enochs. And in one in 234 years of life of Nuku, Mahalalel, the son of Canaan, died. And the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Yared, the son of Mahalalel, died in those days, and in the 336 years of the life of Noah, all the days of Yared were 962, and he died, and all who followed the Most High died in those days before they saw the evil that the Most High declared upon the earth. But people say, well, the Most High doesn't do evil. Wait a minute, he's perfect. He's spotless. He doesn't have, okay, he's sending, okay, the destruction upon him. And after the lapse of many years, in 400 years, 80th year, 80th year, life of Noah, when all the men who followed the Most High died from among the sons of men, only Methuselah was then left. And this is what they show you in the movie modification. Tatanzami said on the Nuku, Methuselah saying, speak ye and proclaim to the sons of Muntu, saying, thus says the Most High, return from your wicked ways. So again, I did this once before, where they go out and they try to teach them. And they did it for a period of 120 years. Now, I did this before. The equivalent of Methuselah, which also is the spirit of Eliah, what's his name? Kimbangu. Okay. And he started to preach things. So you have the spirit of the Most High was with him. Then you have Simon Toko that had the spirit of Kuswa Kongo. Now you see the difference is Kuswa Kongo came, he would have really been the spirit of Hanok, because he was with Hanok when he taught the Most High the way to the Most High. But he was his own, but he was within Hanok. Okay. They were Kintuadi. They were the same spirit. They were the same mind. They were walking in the ways of the Most High. Okay. Okay. So the Most High said that these men were hearkened. They were stiff-necked. They didn't do it. Now, and this is a different Nama. I thought it was the other Nama. So now Noah has a son, a daughter, a wife. Now you know her name, Nama. Of course, they changed it to a different name. And funny how Jubilees has a different name. It's weird how they did that. Because this name sounds more Bantu. And she was 500, and now here, she was 580 years old. Noah was 498 years old when he took Nama for his wife. Okay, you got Japheth. That's why his name means Japhethah. He was enlarged, Most High enlarged me in the earth. And she conceived, and he called his name Semi, because the Most High made me a remnant. So that tells you the remnant of the seed of Semi would come out of Sem in the future. Now, of course, for some reason in this book, they don't talk about Ham till later. And I kind of wonder why, but it's, because it would have explained some things about him. All right, and Noah was 500 years old when Nama bare Shem, and the boys grew up, went their ways, and all Methuselah and Noah their father taught them. And Lamech, the father of Nuku, died in those days, yet verily did not go with all his ways of his heart. Now, in the book of Enoch, he killed Tubal Cain before he died. Now, I'm going to show you now he went up and made the ark. But what's interesting is in the book of Enoch, the Malakis helped him make this ark. Now, to the next chapter. All right, so you see what happened. The Kintuadi was there, and when people stopped, the destruction came. So once again, but the chosen of the Most High were together. Him and his wife, they were the chosen. They were one accord with the Most High. So once again, in order to be considered chosen and ready to be it for this time of the destruction, you have to be in Kintuadi with the Most High. Okay, which means we must be together. We must be spiritual, the act of the spirit. We must be doing the act of the spiritual leader. We must be with the Most High. But see, the enemy, now let me tell you, this is why we get back once again to kinetic energy. When we are together, okay, and just to give an idea, okay, when molecules come together and you heat them up, and there's a lot of them, you can have a reaction. Bantu people work the same way. The energy, the vibration. The vibration is caused by the heat. Like say when you boil water, the vibration of the heat boils the water and you get steam and it goes off and you get heat. Okay, the molecules are a lot. They boil, the water's made out of a bunch of molecules. It boils in, the same thing happens to Bana Betu. Okay, when we are together, the energy we possess is exponentially greater. And that's what allowed us to fight wars where we can only use 300 people and knock down thousands. Okay, because the vibration of the Bana Betu was higher. It was on the Most High's level. It was higher frequency. But we always wanted to operate at the lower frequency for whatever reason. And that is why we have to get back. Now, the only way to do that is with Kintuadi, so we can build the kinetic energy against the enemies of the nations, those who have hated us, those who have done bad things to us. That's how it works. This is why they always say we're afraid of Black unity, when it's really Bantu unity is what they're afraid of. Why? Because we can be very, very powerful. Like when they saw Money Congo, man, he's like a Maliki, he's like a God figure. Money Congo at that time was like Enoch. but you had to do the ways of the Most High, the practice, the way we were taught. That's why even the disciples came and said, if someone teaches you another way, a different Messiah, a different spirit, then that means you are no longer in the way. And see, many of the people in the world don't realize they think that they're on the same frequency with the Creator, and they are not. Because if you were in the way of the Most High, what did I show you in the book of Jasher? The whole world would be at peace. When you have the Kintuadi energy together. And that's why the Most High is saying, those who understand that we must be unified in his way. That's why he says, you come to my mountain and I teach you the ways in Isaiah. The nations will come, but he will rebuke many. Why? Because he already knows you're not going to follow the way. I'm not going to do this again with you. I'm going to vet you. You are going to be vetted. Who will do the way and who won't? And that will include many of the people who think they're going to get in, who aren't going to get in. I'm telling you. All right. No, I took too long, longer than I wanted. Anyway, this is very significant because when the shepherds, as in Lemuel 50 says, led the sheep astray on the mountains, okay, they caused a lack of Kintuadi. When you seek the ways of others that doesn't fit who you are, you have now broken the family structure of what it was meant to be. Because Isolele, Isaela, was a family. Where do you see the first time that happened with Yosephu and the 12, the other brothers that sold him into Kamata? Where do you see where Kuswa Kongo had an issue with us? He said there was more faith among the one Gentile than that he had seen in the whole nation. So the false Messiah had caused the lack of Kintuadi. This is why under the false Messiah, you can never unify. You can preach it, peace on earth. You can talk about it. You can talk about all the different things. You're going to change this, you're going to change that, but that is not his nature. You will never unify under that joker. Because when he was up, he wanted to destroy the Most High. Okay. Anyway, I want to say hallelujah, hallelujah, Kiambo Natatanzambi. Like I said, we need to become Kintuadi because the enemy knows that's what ends his kingdom. When the Bantu have Kintuadi, the world will follow. When the world follows, there's no more. That's why the Most High said you will now beat your weapons of war into plowshares. You will reap and sow. What happened in the days of Noah? When they lacked the Kintuadi, they could not reap and sow. They grew thorns and thistles. That's where you get the analogy for when the Most High said there's tares and there's wheat. The tares cannot plant good food. They will always get, okay, nasty food. Bad trees cannot bear good fruit. So that's what he's saying. These wicked people in the days of Noah, okay, they could not bear good fruit because they were not following in the ways of the Most High. It works the same way now. This is why you get people going out and doing whatever they think they want to do. I have rights. I have this. I can do this. I can do that. I can do whatever I want to do. Because they are not in the way. I can tattoo my body up. I can do this. I can go get, I can, you know, I point and figure myself, you know, when you're not in the way, then you reap what you sow. And now you see why every generation has gotten progressively worse, because you were not in the way. You can see now why was Europe in so much turmoil when they're supposed to be Christians, because you were not in the way. Why did Bantus get thrown into slavery? They were not in the way of the Most High. All right. Hallelujah. Kemu na tatanzambi. Inaweza tatanzambi mpungu tulena kutwala akongo ingeta.